So this video is probably already overdue because so many people in the comment section always ask me, why are my videos not getting any impressions? And people always say like, work on your click-through rate, work on your average view duration, work on all of these things. But how can you work on it if your videos aren't even getting any impressions? That's what we're going to cover in this video today. So after this video, you'll know exactly why you're not getting any impressions and what to actually do to fix exactly that. So after this video, you will know exactly how to take your channel from this not getting any impressions to actually, blowing up your channel and, hopefully making money with your channel. Now, for the people who don't know who I am, I'm Stefan, 23 years old, currently making anywhere from, $30,000 to $40,000 a month with my own faceless YouTube channels and constantly building new channels, as we can see right here. Then, I've made $42,000 with just 2 videos, as we can see here. Scaled the channel from literally zero to $48,000 in 30 days. And then, I've helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing. So all of this, what I'm going to teach you in today's video, did not just work for me, it worked for hundreds of other people. Like, for example, Martin Desmond, where, we scaled up his channel to $31,000 in one single month. He even had like a bunch of almost $3,000 days. And then, here, a different student, $12,000 in one single month. Here, a student, $24,000 in one single month. Here, like a smaller channel, $4,000 a month. And here, just as an example, monetized in just 20 days. Now, if you are interested in getting the exact same results, check out the first link in the video description, book a completely free call with me, and we'll talk and we'll see if it makes sense to work together. Maybe I can scale you up as well. So go ahead and book your call. As long as you're serious about it, we'll be able to scale you up. All right. Now, with that being said, I would say let's get right into the video. So before we get into it, we firstly have to understand what is an impression. All right. How and what is an impression? So an impression is very simple. How many times your thumbnails were shown to the viewers on YouTube. Now, if I, for example, scroll here on my YouTube homepage, I'm giving all of these videos one impression. Yeah, I'm even giving myself one impression. All right, that is an impression. If the viewer sees the thumbnail, that is one impression. Now, impressions are always broken down into 2 separate parts. And that's it. That is the thumbnail and the title. This then makes up the click-through rate. All right. How often viewers watched your video after seeing the thumbnail. All right. So that is your click-through rate. So impressions are when viewers see your, thumbnail, and then click-through rate is a combination of the thumbnail and the title if someone clicks on your video. All right, because many people think like, hey, okay, the click-through rate is only my thumbnail, only my title. By the way, it's both of them. They always have to work together. All right, your thumbnail and your title work together. Okay, now we know exactly what an impression is and how click-through rate is made up. Now, how does YouTube actually share our content? This is extremely important to know for us to understand why sometimes we aren't getting any impressions, or why sometimes lines flatline. Very simple. So YouTube will first push your content to a smaller tier. Okay. Then if your content actually performs well, then it will push it to a bigger tier. Okay. If your content performs well again, then it will push it to a even larger tier. All right. Now, how does this look? And how can you see what kind of tier you're currently in? So YouTube will push your content out to a small tier, to a small group of people. Then it will compare the data that your video generates. So for example, the average view duration, the click-through rate, all of these things to videos in your niche. All right. And that's why I always say, like, if you're going to go into a niche that already has channels inside there, always try to make sure to actually post longer videos. So I always say 1.5 times longer than your competitor video. All right, 1.5 times longer than your competitor video, because YouTube will always compare your video to your competitor video. All right, always. Now, how does this look? So in most cases, we post a video, right? Let's say this is the bar. All right, the YouTube kind of analytics. We post a video exactly like I did here. All right, then in most cases, and this is now especially for impressions and views, in most cases it flatlines in the beginning. Then it picks up a little bit, and then it flatlines again. Then it picks up again, flat lines, and then, whoops, doesn't do. Okay, now I removed everything, but it goes up, flat lines, goes up, flat lines, goes up, flat lines, and then sometimes it just explodes. All right. Now, what does this here mean? So here, YouTube is still kind of figuring out, if you're getting some impressions here, YouTube is still figuring out where to push the content. And I know we'll speak about not getting in any impressions in a second. I just want to show you guys how videos are actually being pushed. Okay. Now here, this will be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And then, once they see, okay, your video is doing very, very well, they'll push it in tier 4 and your video is going to go viral. All right. Super, super viral. All right. So YouTube, and this is something to always remember, YouTube will always push your content in tiers from group 1, which is a small group, to group 2, which is a bigger group, to group 3, which is even a bigger group. Now, you have to keep in mind that YouTube is not going to randomly just start pushing your content into all of these groups. You will still compete against other videos or similar videos in that space. Okay. And if your video performs better than video A, right, then YouTube is going to push you to larger tier. If it still performs better than, a new video here, then YouTube is going to push you on. All right. So this is kind of how YouTube pushes your videos. Not too difficult to understand. Just something to know that, YouTube's main goal is to make money. Okay. And if you can help them to make more money, they will help you to make money too, and they will push your video. Okay. That's just one thing to remember. Now, the next thing, why some of you guys, don't get any impressions is because of low trust score channels. Now, trust score is how much does the platform actually trust your YouTube account. Most people don't even know that there is something like trust score. So what we do is we actually warm up our accounts to increase the trust score. Now, what accounts need to be warmed up? All right. So firstly, what accounts are they even? They are personal accounts. These are YouTube accounts that you personally use to, for example, watch this exact video right here. Then we have new accounts. These are brand new accounts that you can just go ahead and create newly. Then we have aged accounts. These are just very, very old accounts that, anyone can, I would say, buy, or where you just have a very old account that you have been using it for years, or a very old Gmail account or something. And then we have pre-monetized accounts. All right. Pre-monetized accounts are just accounts that are already in the YouTube partnership program. Now, which one of these is the best and which one do we actually need to warm up? I always say personal accounts are the best accounts you can get. Okay, by far. Why? Because YouTube already has a bunch of trust to your account because they know there's a real human behind that account. Now, what accounts do you need to warm up? You need to warm up new accounts and you need to warm up aged accounts. Okay. Now, how do you actually go ahead and warm these accounts up? Number one, you use them as a normal user. Then you watch 1 to 2 hours of content per day. You subscribe, like, and comment to different kind of videos or niche channels in your niche. Best case in your niche, can be anything though. But very important is that you do not act like a bot, because if you're going to act like a bot right here, you're going to have a low trust score again. Then do this for 1 week plus to lower the risk of a low trust score. Now, this does not work 100% of the time, but I always say, anything you can do to place the odds on your side when, starting a faceless YouTube channel, you want and you need to do that. All right. So this does for sure work. Does it work with every single account? 100% no. Okay. But it does work and does help to warm up your accounts. All right. Now, by the way, for, choosing good accounts, my sister, my whole family is running faceless YouTube channels, by the way. But my sister, she is highly confident in starting her faceless YouTube channels with very old emails. So old emails are also working very good now, even if you create a brand new YouTube channel on that. Just wanted to mention that, all right? Then, many people know about anti-detect and proxies. This has been a massive, massive discussion on YouTube and in the whole faceless YouTube space. Let me be very honest here, okay? 99% of you do not need a anti-detect or proxies. Most of you just lack the fundamental knowledge of YouTube, and that's why you're not winning, all right? I have worked with hundreds of people and we have never ever used any, like no joke, any anti-detect or proxy softwares, okay? Just as an example right here, Here's a good example from where we just made a few changes and the channel actually blew up. Okay. So here, just as an example, 3-day monetization relaunch. So they were actually struggling with their channel. They've posted 4 videos, got 4 subscribers, and in 6 weeks, they got around 600 views. Okay. And there was clearly something wrong with the content. And what we did is in, our weekly coaching calls, on Thursday night, we uploaded our new format video because we were speaking about, changing up the content a little bit, still in the war niche, but with a different angle, focusing on the transformation and exactly the key success drivers Stefan and Luca explained during the call. And yes, it worked. All right. So we did some initial changes. By Friday night, after 1 day, the curve of that particular video looked like this. It was getting 1,000 views an hour, and the channel all of a sudden has crossed the magic number of 1,000 subscribers this afternoon. Could not be happier. Now, here the channel did not get any views. And this is the big thing with a lot of you guys is you have to experiment with your content. You have to switch around things if you're not getting any views. Okay? So very important is if you want to kind of skip the trial and error, like, you've been doing now, you've been struggling, you're not getting any impressions. If you want to skip that, then go ahead and check out the first link in the video description, book a completely free call with me, and we'll have a look if if I would be able to scale you up. If I'm confident that we can scale you up, then we can work together. If not, then not. All right. So check out the first link in the video description and, we'll book a call and see if we can work together. Now, the next thing is patience. Most of you guys don't have enough patience. They're posting one video and expect it to go super viral. Currently, we are in June 2026 and patience is key. YouTube takes way longer to push out new channels and often leaves them at 0 impressions before giving them the initial push. All right. So let me give you an example. My mother is also running faceless YouTube channels. Like I said, my whole family is running channels. Now, my mother's graph looked exactly like this. She posted. Like, keep in mind, no impressions, nothing. It was completely flatlined. All right. Posted, nothing. 10 videos in and nothing. And I told her, okay, let's do some pauses. All right. She paused, posted, paused, and all of the sudden, videos here from the begin started completely taking off. And the next week, roundabout here, the channel was monetized. Okay, I've created a video on that channel already on this exact YouTube channel, but sometimes, leaving pauses and like kind of disrupting your upload schedule on purpose is massive. Okay, but you need to be patient as well. All right. Back in the days, you could go viral like 4 hours after posting. Today, it takes a bit longer for most channels. All right. Then something you have to keep in mind is that there is something called restricted mode. All right. So let me just put this inside here so I can read it through you guys. So if you guys are like in any kind of war niches or anything like that, then you have to, if your content is about, for example, here, drugs and alcohol, sexual situations, violence, mature subjects, profane and mature language. If your content includes anything of this, you have to have a look if, let me show you if, your content is showing up if you click on restricted mode. So you can see here, my restricted mode is currently off. If I turn it on and reload the channel, then, all of the videos should still be here. If your videos are not all there, then you have to probably change up your content because a lot of people have, this restricted mode on, so they won't even be able to see your content. All right. So this is massive. Make sure to turn this off as well. Now, here are 4 other reasons why you are currently not getting any impressions. So firstly, your video ideas suck. This is one of the biggest problems that, I see with a lot of you guys as well, especially if I go to your channels, is I see you have a good niche, but your video topic sucks. And you always have to keep in mind that there is supply and demand on video topics as well. So you need to make sure that not hundreds of people have created a video on your exact video. All right. So make sure that your video ideas do not suck and that, that not hundreds of people spam that exact same video already. Then a bad thumbnail and title. All right. In most cases, difficult to see if you're not getting too many impressions, but this can also be something. I've noticed that if you copy a title one-on-one or a thumbnail one-on-one, very often YouTube does not give any impressions, so it takes way longer. Okay, that's just what I've noticed. Then bad video length. What did I say? We want to make our videos 1.5 times longer than our competitor videos. Okay, very important. So bad video length or bad retention. Then bad niche. Sometimes you guys don't want to kind of admit to yourself that maybe the niche is not the best. Sometimes, you want to stay with a niche. And one thing I can tell you guys is that you have to detach from the channels. Some channels will win, some channels will lose. You will post 15 videos on that account. If you're not getting any impressions, you take those videos, you post them to a different channel. If you're still not getting any impressions, move on from that niche. All right, move on from that niche. Now, as I said, most people lack the fundamental knowledge about YouTube, and that is exactly why they keep on failing. Now, if you want the exact same results as, for example, Martin's, or here a student that we scaled from $200 to $400 a day, or here 171 euros a day, or here absolutely blowing up, or even here, $4,000 a month, monetized in 20 days, and many, many more, then check out the first link in the video description, book your call with me, and we'll have a look if it makes sense to work together or not. If it doesn't, then we don't work together. Then there's a bunch of free content on my channel already. But if we do, we will for sure scale it up. And with that being said, I'll see you on the call or in the next video.